Let's all do something good today.
Hey y'all, welcome to Dad Does Dinner. It is April 3rd, the year is 2020. Toilet paper is the new currency, and if you want to get a haircut, you have to make arrangements for that on the dark web. Things are a little crazy. Thanks, coronavirus. Today we're going to put together some salsa verde. That's green sauce for you non-Espanol speakers. I'm making this a day ahead for a couple of reasons. One, I'm trying to beat the monsoon-like rains which are in our forecast. And two, the longer you give a sauce like this to set, the more those flavors are going to meld together. Andy, you'll be happy to know that there's an easy vegetarian option for this dish. Andy's my second favorite redhead. I just got my fire going and we're going to grill the vegetables for this salsa. As always, I want to give a shout out to Mike and the crew at One Arm Brewing and Barbecue. It's a mini micro brewery and barbecue joint in San Angelo, Texas. I know Mike was talking to a supplier today. He had to restock on sausage for his all-you-can-eat endless sausage platter. It's looking good out there, Mike. I know One Arm does a lot of good work with their local food bank. Keep up the good work, gang.
So on the grill, I've got a couple of bell peppers. We like those for the sweetness that they bring. A couple of poblanos. They have kind of a subtle smoky flavor as well as a little bit of back end heat. Some onions, a couple of jalapenos. Those bring some more forward heat, and about 2 pounds of tomatillos.
If you've never worked with the tomatillo before, it is a distant cousin of the tomato. It brings a nice tartness to the sauce.
On that onion, we got that nice char and it's starting to soften. I'm going to turn it over for a couple of minutes. You notice I added some corn to the grill. I want to get a nice char on that corn, and it's going to go into my roasted corn avocado salsa. So we get some good color on these tomatillos. They're already starting to soften up a little bit. All right, my lime. Oh, look at that. Look at that deep, rich color on that lime. Try these peppers. Yes, that's exactly what you're looking for.
So we have just learned that you can get your iPhone too close to the fire. It will overheat and stop working.
This is the look you're going for on your tomatillo. Slightly charred. The color's faded from a bright green to a pale green. That one's just perfect. That corn's looking great. So this is what you're looking for. Almost the whole pepper is charred. Pulled off my tomatillos. They're all in a bowl. The corn's done, looking great.
My peppers are nicely charred, and I've got them in a bowl, and I'm going to cover them with plastic wrap. Now you want to seal this up pretty well. You're going to peel all that black membrane off the peppers, and when you cover it and seal it like this, it really makes it a lot easier for that process to take place. If you don't love to grill as much as I do, then what the hell's wrong with you? But you can do this whole process on a sheet pan in the oven. Just put all your vegetables on a sheet pan, 450 degrees in the oven. Keep your eye on them until the peppers are nicely charred and the tomatillos are browned and softened. Woo, that humidity's back and I am sweating like a flambeau. While I'm waiting on the skins to steam off, I'm gonna go ahead and toast up my spices that I'm gonna use for the salsa. With Mexican food, I always like to toast up my spices because it gives them a more intense flavor. I'm gonna do about a half teaspoon of coriander, a full teaspoon of cumin, and about a half teaspoon of cinnamon. I think cinnamon really enhances all the flavors of Mexican cuisine. Experiment with it, see how much or how little you like in it. All right, these have been going for about a minute and a half and we're gonna call them done. I'm gonna go ahead and get this corn ready to put into the chunky avocado roasted corn salsa for tomorrow. So you wanna clean off the husks, give it a chop. Make sure you get all the corn silk off. So here's what you want. You want a nice char on some of that corn, and the rest you want slightly cooked, yet still firm and crunchy corn. And now we just remove the kernels by sliding our knife down between the corn and the cob. Get these kernels separated, just give them a rough chop. And now we store these until they're ready to use tomorrow. Now let's get to work on those peppers. So with the pepper, you just want to remove the black part. Now with the bell peppers and the poblanos, you want the stem and the seeds removed. So that pulls out pretty easily. And I'll save as much of this juice as I can, and I'll put it right into my blender. With the jalapeno, I just want to remove the stem. I want to leave the seeds in for some more heat to this sauce. Look how easily that skin comes right off. We removed the skin and the seeds because it'll give this salsa kind of an unpleasant texture. Now for the poblano. Poblanos are great for chili rellenos too, but that's another show. And now everything goes into the blender. I'll start with my lime juice. Because we grilled that lime, it's soft, all that juice comes out of it. Add my toasted spices. Then I'm gonna put in about a half cup of cilantro. If you are cursed with the evil cilantro gene that makes cilantro taste like soap, certainly leave this out. And now all my tomatillos and onions. And make sure you add this smoky flavor that's in the bottom of the tomatillo bowl. I'm gonna add a few cracks of black pepper. And I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of salt and then taste it as we go. So I blended this for about 30 seconds. Now I'm gonna taste it for seasoning and texture. Oh, that's good. It's got a good bit of heat from those jalapenos and the tartness from that tomatillo, and to balance that, we have the sweetness of that bell pepper. If you wanted this a little bit sweeter, you can add some honey. I'm gonna leave this just like it is. And as this sits overnight, those flavors are gonna come together even more and intensify. I'm just gonna leave this in the blender and refrigerate this overnight.
We're ready to put together our roasted corn and avocado salsa.
So really this is a pico de gallo with avocado and roasted corn. So we've got our avocado diced in the bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and add to this my zest and lime juice. That's the zest of a whole lime and the juice of a whole lime. Add the roasted corn that we roasted up yesterday, our quarter cup of cilantro, diced jalapeno, half a red onion, and about 3/4 of a cup of diced tomatoes. About a half teaspoon of salt, a few cracks of black pepper. This is something that you'd like to do a couple of hours before you are ready to eat so these flavors can come together. Look how colorful that is. So let's give it a taste. So right away, I get a pop of sweetness from that corn with just a hint of smokiness from that char that we put on it. The avocado is smooth and creamy. And the combination of the lime zest, juice, and cilantro bring a real brightness to the dish. So I'm gonna cover in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for a couple of hours and let these flavors marry together. Now I'll put together my favorite condiment for this dish. Chipotle crema. We start with 8 ounces of Mexican crema. Mexican crema is cream. The consistency is somewhere between heavy whipping cream and sour cream. If you can't find that in your local grocery, sour cream will work just fine. We add a whole chipotle. Chipotles bring a real smoky heat to this. And then the zest and juice of an entire lime. And right at a 1/4 cup of cilantro. About a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Fresh cracked black pepper. And then I'm gonna buzz this up in this mini food processor. I love this tool. If you don't have one, certainly a blender or regular food processor will work. All right, 30, 45 seconds. Look at that nice color. Now I'm gonna give it a little taste. I wanna give it some more heat. So I'm gonna add a second chipotle. It has that nice smoky back end heat. I think it needs about another 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And we'll set this in the fridge for a couple of hours. As this sits, it will thicken up. For my enchiladas, I'm gonna grate 8 ounces of pepper jack cheese and about 3 ounces of cheddar. These are gonna go inside and on top of the enchiladas. Grate your own cheese. We all like the convenience of bag cheese. You may have noticed with bag cheese, especially when stuffing the cheese inside of something and cooking it, it has a grainy quality. It doesn't quite melt as smoothly as you like. This is because bag cheese is covered in cellulose to keep it from sticking together. Cellulose by definition is plant fiber. Wood pulp is plant fiber. Sawdust is wood pulp. The FDA allows up to 4% of each bag of cheese to be wood pulp. However, when tested, some of those bags have contained up to 10% of wood pulp. So if you're using 16 ounces of shredded bag cheese to cook with, That's like eating a tablespoon of sawdust. So that took 4 minutes to grate about 12 ounces of cheese. Isn't that worth avoiding a mouthful of sawdust? Let's start prepping to put together our enchiladas verdes. That's green enchiladas for you Americans. What I've got here is about a pound of leftover pulled pork. We smoked this last week, and the leftovers make great enchiladas. So I'm just separating this a little bit. It's been sitting in the fridge. I'm gonna put it in my pan. For green enchiladas, a rotisserie or grilled chicken works well too. So I have my pan over medium-low heat. I've got my pulled pork in it, and I just added a cup of salsa verde that we made yesterday. You just want to heat this just enough until it comes together. After about 10 minutes, this is warm. The sauces come together with the meat. I'm going to turn off the heat. You may remember yesterday, it was warm and humid. I was rocking the dad jorts and looking hot. I know. Today, we wake up, it's 45 degrees, and I'm bundled up in sweats. We're ready to assemble. I'm going to put these on flour tortillas. Flour or corn, either is fine. If you can get your hands on some ultra fresh corn tortillas, those are really great. So we want about maybe a tablespoon and a half of our meat mixture. You'll be tempted to overfill these. On a fajita size flour tortilla, a tablespoon and a half works best. So our meat and sauce mixture, a little bit of the cheddar cheese, and then lightly roll this together. And I'm going to put these in a liberally sprayed casserole dish. For you non-meat eaters, I don't understand you, but you can fill the tortillas with cheese or, God forbid, tofu. This pan holds about 8 enchiladas. You don't want to put these in there too tightly because you want to have room for the salsa to get in between the enchiladas. Now I like to add, about half of this pepper jack over the enchiladas. And then add the green sauce. Cover the enchiladas completely with the salsa and then finish with the rest of your cheese. This is going to go in a 350 degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes just till the cheese is melted and it's hot and bubbly. The enchiladas are in the oven, and I've crumbled up some queso fresco. That's Mexican fresh cheese. It's got a light, salty bite, and I've chopped up some cilantro, and we're going to add this over the top for some freshness. For millions of us, this coronavirus has been nothing more than a series of minor inconveniences. For others, it has been much more serious. I began my teaching career at Jesuit High School in New Orleans, Louisiana. I just learned that one of my former students, who works in the medical industry and is on the front lines of this, is convalescing at home with the coronavirus. Hang in there, Haggerty. You're going to beat this thing. It's also hit close to home to another friend in Louisiana. Mary Lee, we're praying for your mother. During this time, I've been propelled to gratitude in so many areas of my life, from taking long walks with my kids to being able to teach online. Look for the gratitude. Be kind to others. Do something good for someone else. I heard something the other day that really gave me hope. Tomorrow brings us one day closer to all this being over. Hang in there, y'all. After 30 minutes in the oven, we are hot and bubbly. I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. Now I'll sprinkle on the queso fresco. Yes, I speak Mexican food fluently. And then finish with the fresh cilantro. So adding some of the chipotle crema, some of the roasted corn and avocado salsa. And now we are ready to taste. There's so many layers of flavor here. Smoky, spicy, creamy, and fresh. This is really good. We'll see y'all next time.
Oh, won't you hear me, people, when I say, well, let's all do something